If you've passed the age of 63, your body begins to respond to food in ways it never did before. Foods that once energized you can now cause fatigue. Meals that seemed harmless a decade ago may quietly be placing pressure on your heart. And what if I told you that some vegetables, yes, vegetables often labeled as healthy, could be slowly draining your heart's strength without you even realizing it? As a longtime nutrition consultant specializing in aging wellness, I've worked with countless clients who believed they were making the right dietary choices. They ate their greens, avoided red meats, even switched to olive oil. But the truth is, many of these well-meaning seniors were unknowingly consuming vegetables that were interfering with their medications, spiking their blood pressure, or causing subtle inflammation that wore down their heart muscle over time. They weren't eating fast food. They weren't eating sugar. But they were still putting their cardiovascular health at risk, simply because of what they didn't know. In this video, we're going to talk about 5 vegetables that people over 63 should either stop eating or drastically change the way they prepare. You may have one of these in your refrigerator right now. And while these foods aren't dangerous for everyone, they can be risky when paired with common medications, reduced kidney function, or age-related blood vessel changes. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which vegetables deserve a second look, and most importantly, how to still enjoy a flavorful diet without compromising your heart's safety. Let's start with a vegetable that's been at the center of many health trends but could actually be undermining your treatment plan behind the scenes. We're talking about beet greens, a leafy, vibrant ingredient often found in juices and salads. Rich in nitrates and vitamin K, beet greens have a complicated relationship with blood pressure and anticoagulant medications. You see, while beet greens are praised for their ability to support circulation due to their nitrate content, they're also high in vitamin K1, a nutrient that plays a role in blood clotting. Now, for someone in their 30s, that's no big deal. But for those over 63 who are on blood-thinning medication like apixaban or dabigatran, excess vitamin K can reduce the effectiveness of these medications, making your blood thicker than it should be. The irony is, you may feel fine. You may even notice no symptoms. But inside your veins, clotting can build silently. I once worked with a retired school librarian, let's call her Diane, who made daily beet green smoothies believing she was doing her heart a favor. Unfortunately, she ended up in the ER with signs of a small stroke. It turned out her INR levels were completely out of balance due to her daily intake of beet greens, which had counteracted her prescribed medication. She had no idea something so green and clean could be so disruptive. So, what should you do if you love leafy greens? The answer isn't to banish them from your plate entirely. It's to maintain consistency. If you're eating them daily, tell your doctor. Get your medication dosage adjusted. If you're eating them sporadically, that's even more dangerous because your blood levels fluctuate without warning. Consistency is key, and communication with your doctor is your best defense. But beet greens aren't the only vegetable carrying risks. Next up is something that comes in jars, tastes sweet and sour, and often ends up on sandwiches, yet is quietly loaded with hidden sodium and preservatives that can skyrocket your blood pressure in minutes. Let's talk about jarred baby corn, a snack that looks innocent, even charming. It's often added to salads, stir-fries, or eaten straight from the jar as a crunchy side. But for seniors, especially those over 63 dealing with heart conditions, high blood pressure, or kidney function decline, this vegetable might be quietly doing more harm than good. Why? Because most commercially jarred baby corn is packed in brine, a solution saturated with salt, preservatives, and sometimes even added sugar. In just 5 pieces of baby corn, you can consume over 700 milligrams of sodium. That's nearly half the recommended daily limit for older adults, and we haven't even talked about the rest of your day's meals. Now here's where it gets serious. Sodium isn't just a flavor enhancer. In the aging body, sodium acts like a sponge. It pulls water into your bloodstream, increases blood volume, and puts pressure on already vulnerable arteries. That means every bite of salty food makes your heart work harder, especially if your arteries are stiff or partially blocked. The more pressure, the more wear and tear on your heart walls. Over time, this results in what we call cardiac strain, a silent condition that leads to fatigue, shortness of breath, or worse, heart failure. I had a client, Eduardo, 68 years old, who thought he was eating light by replacing chips with jarred vegetables. But during a routine consultation, his blood pressure was so high we had to delay his physical therapy sessions. The culprit? A daily bowl of baby corn with his lunch. He was unknowingly sabotaging his progress, one small jar at a time. So, what's the better option? If you love the crunch of baby corn or pickled vegetables, try rinsing them thoroughly before eating or choose low-sodium versions. Better yet, make your own quick pickled vegetables at home using apple cider vinegar, garlic, and fresh herbs. No brine, no chemicals, and a whole lot less stress on your heart. Now, before we move on, let me ask you something important. If you've made it this far in the video, it means you care about your health and you're open to learning. That already sets you apart from most. So why not take one more step? Tap that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss another video made just for your stage of life. And here's something different. Share with us in the comments. What's one vegetable you eat regularly that you're now thinking twice about? Not only will your answer help you reflect, but it might help someone else reading your story feel less alone. We read every comment. Your voice matters here. Let's move forward. So far, we've covered leafy greens and salty jarred vegetables, but now we step into spicier territory, something beloved for its flavor and heat, but capable of spiking your blood pressure with just a few bites. I'm talking about banana peppers. Yes, those mild-looking yellow rings that often top pizzas or sandwiches. They may seem harmless, less fiery than jalapenos, more flavorful than bell peppers, but banana peppers can still trigger a strong nervous system response in aging bodies. They contain capsaicin, the compound responsible for the burn, which increases adrenaline and stimulates your cardiovascular system. Now, for someone in their 30s or 40s, this might simply cause a little sweat or a faster heartbeat. But for someone over 63, especially with pre-existing heart conditions or arterial plaque, this spike in stimulation can be dangerous. I've had clients describe symptoms like racing heartbeats, lightheadedness, and even irregular rhythms after meals loaded with peppers, mild or hot. The tricky part is that banana peppers are often marinated in vinegar and salt, adding another layer of risk due to their sodium content. It's a double hit to your heart, the stimulant effect from the spice and the pressure building from the salt. Does this mean you have to give up flavor? Not at all. Instead of loading up on spicy veggies, consider building flavor with ingredients that soothe your heart, not stress it. Try roasted garlic, in small amounts, fresh herbs like dill or parsley, or citrus zest to brighten your dishes without raising your blood pressure. And remember, eating should be joyful, not fearful. But joy shouldn't come at the cost of stability, energy, and heart strength. Let's move to a vegetable that wears a halo of health, raw eggplant. It's praised in many cultures as a superfood. It's colorful, rich in fiber, and full of antioxidants. But here's something most seniors don't know. When eaten raw or undercooked, eggplant can be subtly toxic and especially problematic for aging hearts already burdened by medication or weakened circulation. Eggplant contains a naturally occurring compound called solanine, a glycoalkaloid that can cause inflammation, digestive distress, and in some sensitive individuals, even irregular heartbeat or lightheadedness. While small amounts of solanine aren't dangerous for most, seniors over 63 may be more susceptible due to slowed liver detoxification and decreased digestive resilience. What once felt like a little heartburn in your 40s might now be an early warning sign of something more serious in your 60s. Take Samuel, a 66-year-old community volunteer who switched to a Mediterranean diet to improve his heart health. Every day he ate raw eggplant slices with hummus, believing it was a healthy substitute for crackers. After weeks of persistent fatigue and nausea, tests revealed liver inflammation and erratic blood pressure. The link? Raw nightshades like eggplant affecting his medication absorption and overloading his system with small doses of solanine daily. The solution? Always cook your eggplant thoroughly. Baking, roasting, or grilling helps break down solanine and unlocks the full nutritional potential of the vegetable without triggering side effects. When properly prepared, eggplant can be an excellent heart-supportive food. But raw? It's a silent threat dressed as a health hero. That brings us to a vegetable that's often underestimated due to its soft texture and mild flavor: canned mushrooms. While mushrooms in general can be beneficial for immune function and antioxidants, the canned variety can be a source of concern for older adults trying to protect their heart and brain health. Canned mushrooms are preserved using additives like citric acid and sodium benzoate, which in high quantities can lead to chemical stress on the liver and kidneys. They also contain significant amounts of sodium per serving, something many seniors overlook because mushrooms aren't considered a salty food. But check the label. 1 cup of canned mushrooms can have over 400 mg of sodium, and when combined with other hidden sources throughout the day, the strain adds up fast. More importantly, certain canned foods, including mushrooms, may also leach BPA, bisphenol A, from the lining of the can, a chemical linked to inflammation and cardiovascular disease. While many manufacturers are phasing out BPA, it's still widely used and rarely mentioned on packaging. An elderly client of mine named Anita, age 70, was dealing with swelling in her ankles and shortness of breath. Her diet was largely plant-based, and her doctor couldn't figure out why her blood pressure remained elevated. It turned out she was adding canned mushrooms to her lunch every single day, thinking she was making a healthy choice. The additives, the salt, and the cumulative BPA exposure had all silently contributed to the pressure her heart was under. So what's the fix? Switch to fresher dried mushrooms and cook them with herbs and olive oil. You'll get the flavor, the nutrients, and none of the hidden chemical load. Remember, natural doesn't always mean heart-friendly, especially when it comes in a can. Now that we've revealed 5 vegetables that may be hurting your heart more than helping, let's take a moment to reflect. What's on your plate today that might need a second thought? What small change could you make tomorrow that your heart will thank you for next month? And before we dive into how to build a truly heart-smart diet after 63, here's something from me to you. If this content is helping you rethink your health with more clarity and confidence, consider hitting the subscribe button. But more than that, I'd love to hear your voice. In the comments below, share one vegetable you're now looking at differently and tell us why. Your story could be the reason someone else takes their first step toward a healthier life. Let's build a space where experience and encouragement grow together. We're not here to judge your past food choices. We're here to help you make smarter ones moving forward. Your journey matters. And now, let's explore which vegetables actually support your heart after 63, and how to prepare meals that heal, not harm. Now that we've discussed which vegetables may pose risks for aging hearts, it's time to shift focus. Let's talk about the vegetables that genuinely nourish your heart, the ones that work in harmony with your medications, reduce inflammation, and support stable blood pressure as your body moves into its wiser years. Let's begin with a quiet powerhouse: steamed zucchini. Mild, soft, and often overlooked, zucchini is incredibly easy on the digestive system. It's naturally low in sodium, high in potassium, and contains compounds that help balance fluids in your body. That's essential for older adults who may struggle with fluid retention or swelling. Zucchini's soluble fiber also plays a key role in stabilizing blood sugar levels, which indirectly helps protect blood vessel function and reduce plaque buildup. Then there's cooked carrots, a sweet and colorful option that's not just good for your eyes. When lightly steamed or roasted, carrots release more antioxidants like beta-carotene, which has been shown to lower oxidative stress on heart tissues. They're also a smart way to satisfy cravings for something sweet without relying on processed snacks that could spike insulin or add unnecessary strain to your cardiovascular system. Another underappreciated gem: sweet potatoes. Unlike white potatoes, sweet potatoes have a lower glycemic index and are rich in magnesium, a mineral critical for proper heart rhythm. Roasting them with a sprinkle of cinnamon and a drizzle of olive oil creates a comforting, heart-healthy dish that feels indulgent but supports your body's healing process. They're also full of fiber, which means they help keep cholesterol levels in check. Let's not forget about sautéed kale. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, "Not another super green," hear me out. Kale, when prepared the right way, is incredibly powerful, rich in lutein, calcium, and potassium. but it's also much easier for your body to absorb when it's lightly cooked. Steaming or sautéing helps break down its tough fibers and reduces the chance of it interfering with medications, unlike raw cruciferous vegetables. And when combined with a squeeze of lemon and a few toasted seeds, it becomes not just tolerable, but delicious. Next, let's talk about green beans, often served as a side dish, but rarely celebrated for their heart benefits. These humble veggies are packed with vitamin C, flavonoids, and natural anti-inflammatory agents. More importantly, they're low in calories, easy to digest, and go well with almost any dish. Lightly steamed or sautéed in olive oil with a touch of garlic, they become both comforting and heart-strengthening. And speaking of comfort, one of the most healing additions you can make to your weekly meals is lentil soup. Lentils are rich in plant-based protein, fiber, and potassium, which help regulate blood pressure and reduce the load on your heart. They also digest slowly, providing steady energy without causing spikes or crashes in blood sugar. A warm bowl of lentil soup flavored with turmeric, cumin, and carrots can do more for your cardiovascular system than any raw green juice ever could. Now, here's something many people forget. It's not just about the food itself, but how it's cooked. Seniors often make the mistake of preparing healthy vegetables in ways that cancel out their benefits, adding too much salt, frying them in inflammatory oils, or eating them raw when their digestion is already compromised. The method matters. Steaming, roasting, baking, and gentle sautéing with olive oil or avocado oil helps preserve nutrients while avoiding the inflammatory pitfalls that come with processed cooking techniques. You might be wondering, do I need to eat all of this at once? Not at all. The key is balance and consistency. A small bowl of soup for lunch, some roasted carrots at dinner, a serving of kale twice a week. That's enough to build cumulative protection over time. Your heart doesn't need perfection. It needs rhythm, predictability, nourishment that shows up day after day. It's not about chasing some perfect heart diet. It's about listening to your body, adjusting with intention, and learning what helps you feel clearer, calmer, and more energetic after meals. Many of my clients report that just 2 weeks of consistent, heart-smart meals helped them sleep better, breathe easier, and even reduce their medication needs, with their doctor's supervision, of course. And don't forget about flavor. There's no need to live a life of bland meals. Use heart-friendly herbs like rosemary, oregano, parsley, and turmeric. Add a squeeze of citrus for brightness, or a handful of chopped nuts for texture. Healthy food isn't punishment. It's a reward for the life you've built and the life you still want to live fully. Now that you know what supports your heart, we need to address something deeper. Because even the best foods can't protect a heart that's slowly being worn down by one powerful but often overlooked habit. In the next section, we'll explore that hidden threat and how changing just one thing in your routine can give your heart the space it needs to truly heal. You might be eating the right foods. You might be staying active, drinking enough water, and even keeping up with your medical checkups. But if your heart still feels tired, you're breathing shallow, or your energy unpredictable, there could be one silent habit quietly unraveling all your progress. Poor sleep hygiene. Yes, it's not a vegetable, a seasoning, or a plate of food. It's what happens, or doesn't happen, when you lay your head down at night. And for adults over 63, sleep is not a luxury. It's a lifeline. When you consistently get less than 6 to 7 hours of quality sleep, your heart suffers. Your blood pressure stays elevated through the night. Your body misses out on critical periods of repair. And your stress hormones remain in overdrive, tightening your arteries, raising your resting heart rate, and inflaming your blood vessels. This isn't theory. It's fact, backed by decades of cardiovascular research. One particular study tracked older adults who regularly got poor sleep, and it found that they had a 46% higher chance of developing serious heart events, even if they were eating well. Why? Because sleep is when your heart recovers. It's when your blood pressure naturally dips, your heart rhythm resets, and your body releases healing hormones that reduce inflammation. But sleep in our later years doesn't always come easy. Hormonal changes, medication side effects, pain, or even frequent urination can disrupt what was once a simple process. That's why creating a heart-protective sleep environment becomes just as important as what's on your dinner plate. Start by making your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet. Use blackout curtains. Avoid screens at least 90 minutes before bedtime. Instead, opt for a wind-down routine, perhaps soft music, gentle stretching, or even journaling what went well during your day. This isn't just about falling asleep faster. It's about helping your body believe it's safe to rest deeply. Avoid caffeine after noon. Cut back on heavy dinners late at night. And if you struggle with waking up frequently, consider asking your doctor about a sleep study. Sometimes what feels like insomnia is actually sleep apnea, a condition that briefly stops your breathing multiple times during the night, placing extreme stress on your heart without you ever realizing it. I once worked with a retired painter named Lorraine, 72, who followed an impeccable diet. She walked daily, avoided salt, and took her medications as prescribed, but her fatigue was relentless. Her blood pressure never stabilized. It wasn't until we addressed her broken sleep, caused by nighttime acid reflux and unrecognized apnea, that she began to feel like herself again. Within 2 months of improving her sleep routine, her heart rate dropped, her blood pressure evened out, and she had the energy to return to her passion for watercolor painting. This is the power of honoring your body's recovery time. Food builds the foundation, but sleep repairs the structure. Let's not forget stress, either. Chronic, unspoken stress is like a slow leak in your heart's fuel line. Every worry you hold on to, every resentment you carry, every fear you suppress, those emotions live inside your body. They release cortisol, tighten your arteries, and cause inflammation. Over time, this mental pressure transforms into physical burden. How do you fight it? You don't have to meditate for hours or move to a mountain cabin. You start small. Walk outdoors for 15 minutes a day. Call someone who makes you laugh. Read something that reminds you that healing is always possible. And when things feel too heavy, talk about it. With someone you trust, even with a therapist. Remember, your heart is not just a muscle. It's your emotional engine. It beats stronger when your mind is calm, when your body feels safe, when you allow yourself to rest, feel, and breathe fully. So the next time you think about your heart health, think beyond food. Think about rhythm, about recovery, about letting go of what you can't control and investing in what you can. Because all the spinach or lentils in the world won't save a heart that's running on empty from emotional and physical exhaustion. In our final segment, we'll bring it all together. You'll learn how to take the lessons from this video and apply them in a way that's realistic, gentle, and truly life-changing. Not just for your heart, but for your entire way of living. So here we are. You've walked with me through the quiet dangers hiding in your fridge. You've looked closely at the vegetables that, while healthy in the past, might now carry invisible risks. You've learned how aging changes your body's ability to process food, how medications interact silently with your meals, and how even tradition can sometimes lead us down the wrong path when we stop listening to what our heart truly needs today, not what it needed 30 years ago. But most importantly, you've discovered something far more powerful. You are not powerless. Every bite you choose with intention, every time you steam instead of fry, every moment you put your fork down early and take a breath, that's your new rhythm. That's your quiet revolution. You're no longer eating out of habit. You're eating to heal, to restore, to protect the life you've worked so hard to build. This journey isn't about fear. It's about clarity. It's not about avoiding everything. It's about choosing what loves you back, because your heart has been with you from the beginning. It has beat for you through joy, through loss, through stress, through every single birthday candle. Over 2 billion beats by now. And if it could speak, it would say, thank you, and please, keep going. So take this knowledge with you, but don't let it sit still. Apply it. One change this week. Maybe it's skipping the raw sprouts. Maybe it's trading pickled vegetables for roasted zucchini. Maybe it's asking your doctor if that handful of spinach is helping or hurting. It doesn't matter where you start. It matters that you start. And now I want to speak to you directly, not as a creator, not as a health educator, but as someone who cares deeply about this community we're building here. If this video made you pause, if it opened your eyes to something you didn't know before, if it gave you even one clear step to protect your heart, then I invite you to subscribe, not just to this channel, but to a new season of life. One where every decision you make is a vote for more energy, more presence, more time with the people you love. But don't stop there. Tell us in the comments, what's one thing you're taking away from this video? What lesson landed in your heart? Have you had a food experience that surprised you? A reaction you didn't expect? A meal that made you feel off? Share it. Someone else might need to hear your story today. This isn't just a comment section. It's a circle. It's a space where your experience, your wisdom, and even your questions can help someone else feel less alone on this path. And if you've been silently watching our videos for a while, maybe now's the time to say hello. You'd be amazed at how powerful it is to feel seen, to know that someone, somewhere, understands what you're going through. This video was never about scaring you. It was about equipping you, because the truth is, you still have time. Your heart still has strength. And your best days don't belong to the past. They're still ahead, waiting for you to catch up to them. So breathe deep, stand tall, and walk into tomorrow with a plate that supports your purpose. You've got this. Thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for investing in yourself. And thank you for showing up, not just for this video, but for your life. We'll be right here, cheering you on.